Now we're going to talk about properties. We have three properties that we're going to cover in this video. And the first one is the commutative property. Commutative, as you can see, starts with the two letters CO. Those two letters stand for change order. So there's two types of commutative properties. There's the commutative property of addition, and there's the commutative property of multiplication. And you need to know the difference between the two. With the commutative property, something has to change order. And whatever changes order, it's whatever's between them that it goes by. So in this case, the 3 and the 8 changed order. Adding is in between it, so this is the commutative property of addition. If I had 3 times 8 and it becomes 8 times 3, because the multiplication is in between, that is the commutative property of multiplication. The harder one to see, though, is if it's in parentheses. And you have whatever it is in parentheses that changes places with the other thing. Like this is 3 plus the stuff in parentheses, and the stuff in parentheses plus 3. The 3 and the stuff switched places, so it is the commutative property. And what's in between them? Addition, so that's the commutative property of addition. That's commutative. The associative property also has the two types, adding and of multiplication. And if you remember, we looked at it as being like, oh, look, there's your parentheses, and that's what we're talking about. The stuff can't change order. It's just that the parentheses move. So, like for this one, you can notice I'm writing it. It's in the same order, but the parentheses move. That's the associative property of addition. And if this was all multiplication, again, see, one more time, none of it is out of order. It hasn't changed. But if the parentheses move, that's the associative property. The last property that we're going to talk about is the distributive property, at least for today. And I like to think about this as like TVs and stores. So the Walmart distribution center gets a TV, and it sends it to 2 stores. So the TV is always the thing that's on the outside of the parentheses, and they're going to ship it to the first store, and that would be because through multiplication. And do you see this sign? This is what goes in between, and then the other TV goes to the other store. Same TV, just to a different store. This would end up being simplified to 6x plus 42. That can happen over addition. It can also happen over subtraction. So again, the TV's on the outside. That's the thing that gets shipped. Going to ship it to the first store. Then it's subtraction because that's the sign, and then ship it to the second store. So you get 6x minus 42. Now, this can be done with integers, and we've learned about integers. So you could have negative 3 and a variable of n minus 3. The negative 3 is the TV. It'd be negative 3n minus, and then that negative 3 goes to the 3. So it'd be negative 3 times 3. So you would end up with negative 3n, oh, excuse me. Hate it when the paper moves. Negative 3n minus negative 9. Now for this, I can keep change. So either one of those answers would be perfectly acceptable. You could do negative 3n minus negative n, but it can be simplified to this as well.